This is the MHS Pawdcast, the online radio voice of Metuchen High School.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Metuchen High School Podcast, the online radio voice of MHS. I'm Kalegi. After the school announcements, we'll first be joined by Romir, Anand, and Chinchar for a club spotlight of the brand new Geo Club. Then Josh and I discuss the latest in Metuchen High sports. And finally, I'll talk to Jermaine Sanders and Roque of the Jersey Bearcats to promote Metuchen's professional indoor football team's upcoming season. But before all that, here are the announcements from Sarah Terracina.
Thank you, Eddie. Mid-marking period for the third cycle is Monday, March 2nd. The Metuchen Music Department will be hosting the annual ensemble night next Wednesday, March 4th at 7 p.m. in the auditorium. All are welcome to attend. There's no school on Friday, March 13th. The following day, March 14th, is SAT 1 testing at Metuchen High. If you are taking the test, you must arrive by 7:45 a.m. and the test begins promptly at 8. On Thursday night, March 19th, MHS will be hosting its annual College Financial Aid Planning Night at 7 p.m. in the auditorium. This meeting is open to all parents. Lastly, though not MHS related, a little shout out for a big celebrity appearance in downtown Metuchen. On Sunday, Paul McCartney, former singer and bassist for the iconic band The Beatles, was seen and photographed in front of the Buttery Bake Shop and allegedly made an appearance at Haley's Harp and Pub as well. That's all for announcements. Back to you, Andy.
Thank you, Sarah. Just launched last week, we have a new club here at Metuchen High School, the Geo Club. For a spotlight, we're joined by the club's presidents, juniors Romir, Anand, and Chinchar. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, Eddie.
So how did you guys first decide to launch the Geo Club, and why did you do so?
Alright, so I've always loved geography, and I would always go online and try and play geography games, such as Sporkle. But then I started to play Google Maps games with my friends, where we would place each other in random spots in Google Maps. And then recently, I discovered GeoGuessr, which was basically a software-developed version of that game I used to play with my friends. And I just was so amazed by this, and I started playing the game every day. And then recently, I discovered that a lot of people actually play GeoGuessr in this school. So I decided to create a community surrounding GeoGuessr where all people who love geography and just like playing GeoGuessr can come together and have fun.
So you just touched on it a little. So for people who don't know, give us a little idea about what the game GeoGuessr is about.
So GeoGuessr is a game places someone at a random spot on the map, and you have to guess where you are using clues such as like the terrain, the language, and basically you use your skills of the geography to find your place in the world.
So what happens at an ordinary meeting, and what else is planned going forwards?
So usually in the meetings, we usually start as an icebreaker game where we all play one game together and everyone guesses on the answer together. There could be some heated debates sometimes during these introductory games, but it's really good to introduce people to GeoGuessr who haven't played it before. And then after that, we kind of split up into groups and do individuals where people can work on more concentrated games, and it gets a little bit more competitive and a little bit more interesting between the people in the club.
So why should people join the club?
Well, people should join the Geo Club because not only is it going to be fun for anybody who loves geography, it's going to enhance your geography skills, and yeah.
So when and where are the meetings?
So, the meetings are in room 154 every other Thursday. So our next meeting will be in March 5th. I hope to see you all there. And yeah, thanks for having us, Ed.
All right, best of luck with the club.
Thanks.
Okay, so when we come back, Josh Hyman will join us to talk about all the latest in Metuchen High School sports, and the Jersey Bearcats will preview their upcoming season. I'm Eddie Kalegi. This is the Metuchen High School Podcast, the online radio voice of MHS.
Having trouble seeing the board in class? Do you need safety glasses for your school sport? If you answered yes to either of these questions, head over to Optique Unique, the eyeglass store at 406 Main Street in Metuchen. Optique Unique does it all. Not only do they offer eyewear for all ages, they also sell sports-specific safety glasses for kids and adults. Call them at 732-321-2020. That's 732-321-2020, or visit OptiqueUnique.com. Do you want to build character, build confidence, or even build yourself? All that and more can be accomplished at the Black Belt Institute at 23 New Street, right here in Metuchen. Students of all ages have been able to learn respect, discipline, fitness, and self-defense from their experienced instructors for over 20 years. Whether you're an adult looking for stress reduction or know someone young who has interest in Taekwondo, the Black Belt Institute is the place to go. The Institute takes a fun approach at teaching the rules of self-defense, instilling in their students an I-can-do-it attitude. Interested in taking a class? Call them at 732-205-9797 or visit their website at blackbeltinst.com. Once again, that's 732-205-9797 or blackbeltinst.com. The Black Belt Institute, Metuchen's leader in martial arts and fitness. The MHS Pawdcast is also sponsored by Allstate Insurance at 63 Pearl Street in Metuchen. Allstate, are you in good hands?
Welcome back to the MHS Podcast, the online radio voice of Metuchen High School. I'm Josh Hyman.
And I'm Kalegi. The winter sports season's starting to wind down, but we have had some excitement over the past week or so. We're going to start with basketball. Unfortunately, the GMC tournament campaigns ended early for the Metuchen boys and the girls. Both teams fell on the road in the preliminary round. The boys lost to a strong 10th seeded North Brunswick team. They did have a nice win, which we broadcasted live, to get to the preliminary round, knocking out EB Tech by about 20 points. It was a really strong performance for them in that game, but North Brunswick just too difficult of a task for them. And for the girls, they fell to Denellen. Molly Maleg, Chase Claybon were really silenced in that game. Sam Anton and Zoe Brown led the scoring effort for the Bulldogs in that one. So, first round exits for both the teams. Overall, just decent campaigns, and I mean, there's still more to be excited about because the NJSIAA group tournament campaigns begin on March 3rd. The girls will be hosting Rowerton, the boys playing at Manasquan. So, I mean, only lasting into the first round. Tough exits for both these teams, but overall, especially for the girls, a lot to be excited about going forwards.
Yeah, without a doubt. It is kind of upsetting to see a very early exit, as you said. You know, we've been there pretty much all along the way with both of their seasons, seeing the ups and downs and the close games and the blowouts. So it's kind of a shame that it had to end so quickly with how it did.
So next thing is the cheerleading team, which brand new team, and they have been great. They earned their 4th consecutive competition victory Sunday. That was at Howell. They were named the grand champions, and right now they are outperforming the reigning state champs, St. Thomas Aquinas. So, I mean, they've only got a few more competitions left right in the middle of their season, heading towards the final portion of it. So 4 consecutive wins of overall competitions. They're in a really good spot right now.
Yeah, that's just crazy to see this new team just come out of nowhere and do so well. I don't think 4 consecutive grand champions, that's almost never happened in Metuchen High School sports, aside from maybe the track team with their sectional wins. So that's just amazing to see this new team doing so well.
So we had sectionals over the weekend, and I mean, it was really good for boys track, girls track, the throwers. I know. I mean, before we get to the boys and girls other track teams, maybe I'll just ask you a little bit about the throwers, because I know Saturday was really great for that throwing team.
Yeah, it was very good. Every thrower who threw, all 6 of us, everyone got PRs, which is something that, according to my coach, has not happened in his 8 years of being here. That is the first time everyone has PR'd at a sectional meet. Dominique Dudley and Lilia Oldhamu have both moved on to groups, as we said. Lilia Oldhamu throwing 31 feet and placing 2nd overall in the Group 1 schools. Dominique Dudley placing 5th, up from a 7th seed prediction. And then for the boys, nobody's moving on to groups, but still good to see. A bunch of PRs, breaking 34 feet, breaking 32 feet. So there's a lot of improvement from the beginning of the season until now for the throwers. And
then for the runners, first we'll start with the girls, because, I mean, they had a solid winter track campaign, but they really showed out at sectionals. They finished 3rd of the 15 schools. Lucy Lee, the CJ Group 1 pole vaulting champion. Teammate Paige Larson was 2nd. Sarah Lignell was 3rd in the 1600. Naylee Matthews 4th in the 55. The 4x4 team was 6th. All of those are moving on to groups this weekend. So, I mean, just a really good performance for this girls team.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, their regular season or their previous competitions weren't that notable. Nothing extraordinary. But it's really glad to see they came up big in the meet that really required everything.
And as you say, performing when it matters most. Sectionals really stepping up. And then for the boys track team, they had a great day. Brandon Sinclair, Gio Ortega, they both qualified for groups through the 800. They were 2nd and 4th in that event. Thomas Kwok Roque got a season best in the 1600. Akash Sood and Romir Anand, two of the stronger runners in the cross-country end of things, but they were also good in winter track here in the 3200, the long-distance event, and then the 4x4 team of Sinclair, Ortega, Matt Brown, and Arvin Manavanan, which has really been turning some heads. They also qualified for groups with a fourth-place finish. So just overall, this track team, the winter track season had been solid. I know Brandon Sinclair had been huge for this boys team, but for both the boys and the girls, just really stepping up at sectionals, and now they've got so much representation at groups.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, especially for Brandon Sinclair and those freshmen, it's really impressive doing this well in some for these kids' first track season ever, and they're going to groups. It's phenomenal. And, the winter season is not kind to anyone, no matter who you are, what team you run for. It is going to be rough. You're inside a lot. You're doing indoor tracks, which is smaller, and it's a bit more uncomfortable. There's weather, there's darkness. It's just a really rough season to get through. And to see so many Metuchen runners and throwers doing well is just a testament to both the determination of the kids on the team and the great coaching staff here at Metuchen.
Absolutely. And the last thing, wrestling this past Saturday was the District 14 tournament. Freshman Fran Rossiter, sophomore Jack McGowan, and senior Elijah Irvin each came home third in their respective weight classes to continue the extraordinary year for Coach Kegel's bunch. I mean, it's just been a great year for this wrestling team. This program just continues to grow, and I mean, they had a great performance at GMCs and now even at District 14. A lot of standouts, and when we interviewed Coach Kegel about a month ago, he talked about just the amount of depth on this team and really good underclassmen wrestlers. You hear Fran Rossiter, a freshman, really standing out as well.
Yeah, definitely. And if you take a look at the wrestling team, there are a lot of guys there, so obviously have the manpower and the depth to really get things done at every weight class. And like you said, it's a pretty young team as well. A lot of sophomores, a lot of freshmen. Those freshmen and sophomores are doing very well. And, there's not just now that's going to be good. It definitely just the future of this team looks extremely bright, both for Coach Kegel and all the wrestlers and all the future wrestlers that will be here at Metuchen.
Definitely. So winter sports not completely over yet. We'll give an update on the final couple events. You got groups for track, a couple more things for wrestling, and the state tournament for basketball. But overall, it's been great. So let's move on now to our interview with Jermaine Sanders and AJ Roque. In just a few weeks' time, the Jersey Bearcats will begin their second season playing arena football right here in the Brainy Borough. To preview what's to come, it's a pleasure to be joined by the team's co-owner and president, Jermaine Sanders, and coach, AJ Roque. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
So, we're going to start with Jermaine. When did you first develop an interest in managing sports teams? And take us through the process of launching the Jersey Bearcats.
Well, I've always had an interest with sports, ever since my younger days. From the earlier on to collegiate. Unfortunately, I had a bad injury during my college years, and I had to look for something else, something to do, and getting involved with sports in another way. So I've, concentrated on my education and, always had, that fire, that spark to, at least, be, in the executive role or some capacity in the sports world. So I've pivoted and dabbled into the semi-pro outdoor football for some years. And then later on, just had a great opportunity to meet with AJ, my current partner here. We met through a mutual friend of ours, and it basically clicked right then and there. So if you have the passion, you have the drive, and maybe some experience helps out. And in this case, AJ and I, he had, the experience of actually playing on the professional level, and I had a little bit of the business side, and we just, it all came together, and here we are with the emergence of the Bearcats in our second season. So I'm very thankful with that opportunity.
So you mentioned it's the second season, a very successful first season, but there are some changes. Could you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, we were thinking about doing two teams, but we're just going to stick to one team for the 2020 season, which is the AAL, the American Arena League team, which is the professional team.
All right.
I think we need to solidify ourselves, professionally first before branching off to having a second team. So basically, we then create our own feeder team because we were kind of still in the developmental level before we merged with the American Arena League. So it wasn't really going to be a farm system unless we had a pro team. Mm-hmm. Starting, the American Arena League, maybe the 2021 season, we go the semi-pro route and have a second team. So now, then we have a complete farm system.
I want to ask you, Coach Roque, we're only a few weeks out. How are you feeling about the team heading into the season? Of course, you guys have started working together. You mentioned you've got some new players. So how's the team been working cohesion-wise, and what do you guys have to work on leading up to the first game of the season?
Well, we have work on. We have to be fast. We have to play fast. We have to be fast. We have to be able to make decisions fast because now you're playing against other pro athletes who played at major D1 college football schools, or some may have had small stints in the NFL. So there's different caliber of players that we'll see this year. So our guys, they got to be up and ready for the challenge because they're going to be tested week 1 when Carolina comes up.
Yeah, so the first game against Carolina. Jermaine, I wanted to ask you because second season, I mean, you had a very successful first season. Moving up now, it should be very fun this year. Why should people come out to the games, and really just what is there to enjoy when you come out to a Jersey Bearcats football game?
Well, I can tell you one thing, and then my partner will agree with me, is that you're going to get some fan excitement. You're going to get football at its best. You really don't have too much football in the spring. And, locally we're just trying to give that back to, the township and the surrounding areas, to the township of Metuchen and the surrounding areas. And we want to be able to, it's fast-paced, it's fun, it's exciting, it's affordable. For a family of 4, it's very affordable coming out. We got so many things going on. We got giveaways. We're connecting more within the community with as far as partnering with local businesses. Namely, What's the Scoop has been very supportive and very integral part of the community. So we want that connection more with the community and the fans and you're going to get a lot, in terms of a great game, great product, from the surrounding areas of all guys. And like I said, it's overall affordable and exciting. There's giveaways, local promotions with different sponsors. So you're going to get, just a small fraction of what you normally get or what you see at, either an arena game or a professional game at a higher level, but, brought to you, more closely and intimate locally. Yeah, very high energy atmosphere.
All right, so one last thing. You mentioned the first game is against Carolina. When is that first home game?
First game is March 14th, 2 p.m. at home. And it's actually dedicated to the township of Metuchen. It's actually Metuchen Day.
That's very cool. A great day to celebrate football in the Brainy Borough. You guys are definitely making great strides. Just the second season of the team, moving up, and best of luck to you guys this season.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so that's going to wrap up today's edition of the Metuchen High School Podcast. A thank you to our guests, Romir, Anand, and Matt Chinchar, and Jermaine Sanders and AJ Roque. For Sarah Terracina and Josh Hyman, I'm Eddie Kalegi. This is the MHS Podcast, the online radio voice of Metuchen High School. We'll see you next time.